how our country can really, we think we can never come together, but if they could do that, after that bloody conflict and come together, then there's hope for us all.
Chief Justice Wallace B. Jefferson's story begins before the Civil War. His great-great-great-grandfather was a slave owned by Texas State Court Judge Nicholas W. Battle.
After the war was over, Judge Battle sort of calmed things down in that era and then recommended my ancestor to be the first African American to serve on the Waco City Council. So it's so interesting that before the Civil War, he was private property owned by a judge, and after the Civil War, he was a public servant, really dictating the laws in that area.
As America changed, Wallace's family leaned into the possibilities before them. He graduated from Michigan State, and on the advice of his college professors and older brother, attended the University of Texas School of Law. Wallace went into private practice, and before he turned 40 years old, he had successfully argued 2 cases before the U.S. Supreme Court.
It was my first time in Washington, D.C., and after the argument that evening, we went to the Lincoln Memorial, and I was thinking, Abraham Lincoln never would have imagined that one day an African-American lawyer, descendant of a slave, would appear before and win a case before the United States Supreme Court.
In 2001, Wallace Jefferson made Texas judicial history when then-Governor Rick Perry appointed him to the Supreme Court of Texas.
Well, it was remarkable to hear, number one, that I was even being considered to be a justice on the Supreme Court of Texas. And then all the headlines said the first African-American justice, and then later, first African-American Chief Justice. And that makes you think you don't want to stumble. You want to do your best to keep the door open for other people. Justice Sandra Day O'Connor said, yeah, it's good to be the first, but I don't want to be the last. And she sort of encapsulated for me what that feeling was like.
He quickly earned the respect, not only of the colleagues on the court who already knew him, but of judges across the state.
And what impressed me so much is the judicial temperament that he had is the temperament we dream of all judges having.
As chief, there were a couple things that I thought were important. One was access to justice, and we had some pretty profound success in that way.
He made the workings of the court more transparent, particularly by getting the oral arguments of the Texas Supreme Court online in real time and then archived, so you can watch those arguments forever.
Under his leadership, Texas finally began a system of having electronic filing throughout all the courts statewide.
Which is a great savings of money and also tremendous increase in the access of public filings to the general public. He's one of the few state Supreme Court justices who actually has a school named after them.
Wallace Jefferson was selected by Northside Independent School District in San Antonio, where he grew up, as the person whose name they would use on the new middle school. Thousands of students will have him as a model as they go on through their education and lead their private lives.
I think his legacy will be one of an honest, fair, and impartial judge, a judge who put the law above party or personal friendships. And Wallace Jefferson, throughout his career, resisted that.
I think it was impossible that he would not be recognized as a distinguished lawyer by the Austin Bar, but the rule of waiting till he's practiced 30 years meant we couldn't do it till this year.
Well, I'd like to thank the Supreme Court of Texas for its continuing work on behalf of the rule of law and on behalf of basic civil legal services, and all the judges in our great state.
Wallace, congratulations on this award. Thank you for accepting the Austin Bar's Distinguished Lawyer Award. You and your history of service do us all extremely proud.
Wallace, on behalf of all your former colleagues on the Supreme Court of Texas and all the senior lawyers in the state who've watched your career over the last 3+ decades with interest and admiration, congratulations on receiving this well-deserved award from your peers in the Austin Bar.